All right, let's expand on this double circulation of the heart. Okay, like I told you, our circulatory system has a double circulation or two circuits. Okay, there's two circuits. Focus on this picture. Okay, don't worry about the amphibian. So double circulation in the mammal, two circulatories and two circuits. We have the pulmonary circuit and we have the systemic circuit. Okay, when you hear about the pulmonary circuit, that should kind of give you an idea or tell you about it has to do with the lungs, right? And the systemic system or circuit has to do with the body cells or body tissues. Okay, body tissues. All right, and that's kind of the big thing. So remember, we have two circuits. Okay, we have the pulmonary circuit and the systemic circuit. So the pulmonary circuit is going to go from the heart. I'm going to draw here a little heart, okay, to the lungs, and then from the lungs back to the heart. Okay, that's pulmonary circuit. There you go. Systemic circuit, the heart to the body cells, let's just say, or to said rest of rest of body cells, and then back to the heart. Okay, the rest of your body cells. So, for example, in the systemic circuit, could be your toes, could be your cells in your toes, the cells in your fingers, the cells in your head, pretty much everywhere except for the lungs. Okay, so those are your two circuits. Now, I'm going to erase this, so make sure you copy before I erase. 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about blood flow and kind of reinstate or show you, use what I showed you before about arteries always carrying blood away from the heart, regardless whether whether they're oxygen rich or oxygen poor. Okay, so let's look at this key. Make sure you know this key. The key says that whatever you see red, okay, that means oxygen-rich blood. Okay, so if you see the vessels are red, they're carrying oxygen-rich blood. If they are carrying blue, they're not carrying blue blood. Okay, they're carrying oxygen-poor blood. So far, so good. Okay, now I don't know, maybe do this. Let me do pulmonary. Okay, as pulmonary circuit. In pulmonary circuit, okay, things going to the lungs. What do we see? Well, these vessels are carrying oxygen-poor blood, right? But what do we say about arteries and veins? Arteries and veins are based upon the direction in which blood is traveling inside of these vessels, right? So here, the arteries, I'm going to put this in blue, the arteries carry oxygen poor, sorry, I meant go two. I didn't mean to do that, I'm sorry. Let me do this. There you go. There you go. Okay, why is that? Because arteries are always going to be carrying blood away from the heart. Okay, and it has to do with the circuit. The pulmonary circuit, like I show you here, the pulmonary circuit, the arteries are going to be carrying oxygen poor blood because the blood is going to go away from the heart. So the veins, what are the veins going to be carrying? Veins are going to be carrying, veins carry, you know what, give me a second, let me do this, just to keep consistent with the labeling. In the pulmonary circuit, veins carry oxygen-rich blood. Ta-da! Okay, this is, again, one more time, this is, and maybe I should have done something here really quick. to keep this neutral, I'm going to change the color. I'm going to say pulmonary. Okay, pulmonary circuit. In the pulmonary circuit, arteries carry oxygen-poor blood. In the pulmonary circuit, veins carry oxygen-rich blood. And these are going to be the veins over here. Okay, it's going to be veins. Okay, carrying oxygen-rich blood. Again, it doesn't have to be arteries and veins. They don't carry. It doesn't matter whether they carry oxygen-rich or oxygen-poor. What matters, what differentiates between arteries and veins, is the fact that arteries are always going to carry blood away from the heart. Okay, veins always going to carry blood towards the heart, and that's it. Okay, all right. Make sure you copy this. I'm going to erase in 3, 2, 1. Actually, I'm not going to erase anything. I'm just going to do it on the other side, just so you can have the comparisons, right? So we have a systemic circuit here, okay? Let's start with the arteries. Systemic circuit. In the systemic circuit, guess what? Arteries carry oxygen-rich blood. You see how this is different from the pulmonary circuit? Okay, and the reason it is different is because, again, arteries do, what are they going to do? I'm going to erase this really quick. So we're talking about the systemic now. Okay, arteries carry blood away from the heart. In this case, in the systemic circuit, it's going to carry oxygen-rich blood. Okay, what about veins? Well, veins carry oxygen-poor blood. Okay, but again, systemic circuit. This is true for the systemic circuit only. Okay, so one more time. For the systemic circuit only, the arteries carry oxygen-rich blood because arteries here, okay, they're going to be carrying blood away from the heart, and veins are going to be carrying oxygen-poor blood, okay, because they're going to be carrying blood towards the heart. Okay, that's why they're veins. Okay, so this, make sure you remember that. That's key. That's one of the main concepts of the circulatory system. Okay, pulmonary versus systemic circuits. Mammals and also birds, just in case you were wondering. We have a 4-chamber heart. Okay, we have 2 atria and we have 2 ventricles. Okay, remember that. We have 2 atria, 2 ventricles. That's the reason why I put that in here. I know it makes sense. I know you probably know this already. But the thing is, it depends on what kind of animals we're talking about. Okay, we have, for example, amphibians. Amphibians have 3-chamber hearts, right? Just like I didn't show you here. But this is an amphibian, and I'm not going to expand on this. I'm not going to ask you in the test, okay? But this is just for you to look good in a party when you're trying to impress your significant other, okay? The amphibian, for example, has a 3-chamber heart, has 2 atria and 1 ventricle. And this is not very efficient because, as you can probably see, blood like oxygen-rich and oxygen-poor blood are gonna kind of get mixed around here, and you don't want that. I mean, we don't have that problem. You see, we definitely have there a septum to divide everything, but amphibians don't. They have just 3 chambers. You see, we have 4 chambers. This is us, the mammal, okay, the bear. That's us, mammal. We have 2 atria, 2 ventricles. Well, amphibians have 1 atrium, another atrium, and they have a ventricle, just 1 ventricle. This ventricle is going to pump both oxygen-rich and oxygen-poor. Okay, and that's not very efficient because, I mean, why do you want to be pumping dirty blood, right, to the rest of your body? But anyway, amphibians have also another thing that you don't have, or which in a way kind of solves the problem, and that is that they have a pulmonary circuit. So not only they have lungs, but guess what? They can also breathe through their skin. Okay, so makes it easier for them. That doesn't really matter whether they have a they have three chambers in your heart. Okay, so that's just a kind of a fun fact for you to go and impress someone. But anyway, our heart has two atria and two ventricles, like I show you. The left side of the heart pumps blood. The left side of the heart pumps and receives only oxygen-rich blood. Okay, so the left side of the heart is going to pump. Okay, it's going to pump and it's going to receive only oxygen-rich blood. The right side of the heart is going to receive and pumps only oxygen-poor blood. Okay, the right side of the heart. And we go over here just as a reference. I'm going to use my little hand. This is the left part of the heart. Yes, it's going to receive oxygen-rich blood, and it's going to send out oxygen-rich blood, right? Receives and pumps oxygen-rich blood, the left side. Now, what about the right side? The right side here, the right side of the heart, okay, is going to receive oxygen-poor blood, and it's going to pump oxygen-poor blood. Okay, so keep those two straight. Okay, this is going to be something I want you to know, the different parts of the heart. Just the main parts. Let's start with the atria. This is the right atrium. Okay, this is remember we have two atria and two ventricles, so we have the right atrium. This is the right atrium. This is going to be called a tricuspid valve. It's a valve. It's going to close to prevent any backflow. That's what valves do. Okay, valve. Let me put this here. What do valves do? The heart and the vessels prevent backflow. Of blood, so it doesn't go back to the atria. You have a right ventricle. From the right ventricle, we're going to have another valve over here. Okay, this is going to be the pulmonary valve. Remember where the pulmonary valve is. Pulmonary valve is between the right ventricle and the pulmonary. Actually, this is the pulmonary trunk. But anyway, we're just going to call it a pulmonary artery, just because we don't need to go at that level. First of all, it's not even there, so I don't want to add more words than you need at this moment. Okay, so the right ventricle is going to be sending blood. There's going to be another valve here, the pulmonary valve. Okay, which again, what is a valve going to do? The same thing as here. It's going to prevent backflow of blood. Okay, it's going to allow blood to keep going forward, to keep going that way, and it doesn't come back. Okay, so and then it's going to go to the pulmonary artery. Okay, now pulmonary artery, you see it's blue. The reason it's blue is because it's a vessel that goes away from the heart, but it's going to be carrying oxygen-poor blood. Okay, then blood comes back. Okay, it's going to come back. And by the way, there's pulmonary artery. You have two, left and right. Okay, but let's just take the one I'm showing you, because otherwise you may get confused. All right, then the blood is going to go to the lungs. It's going to get cleaned up. We're going to get some oxygen. It's going to come back to us via pulmonary veins. Okay, pulmonary veins are red. Why are they red if they're veins? Well, because again, we are bringing blood from the heart to from the lungs to the heart. Okay, towards the heart. That means that they're going to be clean veins. But because it's coming from the lung, then it's oxygen-rich blood. Arrives at the left atrium. Then it's going to go through the mitral valve. Valve prevents backflow of blood. Then it's going to go into the left ventricle. Okay, and then it's going to that ventricle over here. Then it's going to be pumped. Now I don't know if you're able to see it, but this part here is going to be called the aortic valve. Very similar to the pulmonary valve. Okay, again, what's the role of the aortic valve? To prevent backflow. Okay, and then finally, last but not least, the aorta. Okay, so it comes from the left ventricle, aortic valve, and then to the aorta. When it comes back to the heart, like I said, it's going to come back into the right atrium, but I forgot to probably tell you this one. This is going to be what's the vessel that brings the blood back to the heart? The vena cava. Okay, and that's this one. And this goes back to the heart, goes into the right atrium. Okay,